Tesla update here on the 17th. So if you're not a member yet, please check that out. Really helps out the channel. It's $3 a month. So what is that every day? So I'm asking you to pay 10 cents a day for this content. If you're making money off of it, hopefully you're making more than that. I would say it's pretty much impossible not to be. But please support the channel because I am going to start doing some members only videos. I did one yesterday with Coin and not many views because there's not very many members right now, but hopefully that can change here soon. So please join if you want more content, more in-depth content. Probably start doing these videos. Like most of them will probably be public, but there's going to be some members only videos that are going to be more in depth. So we have Tesla here. The count is A, B here. And we get this move up here. From my count, I think that this is the A wave right here. This took about 3 days. And look what we're coming on to now. Thursday, 8:30. It's Tuesday. Or tomorrow will be Wednesday, 8:30. That's 3 days as well. So 3 days up, 3 days down. I think we're ready to head up here to 247 starting tomorrow. If I'm wrong, it'll be pretty obvious. We'll come down here to 220. But I think we're ready. I think that there is a very good chance that the market is going to be very strong after rate cuts, at least until the end of the week. And then when we get into next week and into October, it's going to be a sell-off. So I'm looking for 247 by the end of the week. We'll see how accurate that is. Overall, it just looks like that. And then this is just like that. So that's my count on Tesla. Not really much more to say. Filled the gap from this morning. That's filled. You have some gaps down here. If I'm wrong and somehow we sell off after the rate cuts, we did not break this high here at 237. So it's still possible that this turns into, well, yesterday it didn't seem like it's possible because I was counting it from the top here and this was not an impulse. But now that we made a new high and this is looking impulsive and it didn't break this high, this is still possible. This will be the second count. It's still possible. It's really possible 2 different ways. It's actually possible this could be a first wave if we get a bearish move and we start this move down if it's really bearish after the rate cuts, which I don't expect. Or it's also possible we get something like this and then come up here. So either way, 2 out of the 3 counts are going to 247. And then this one's very unlikely yet, in my opinion. I think that we still have another move up here to the 0.78 fib. Mara, it's interesting because Mara and Tesla have the same count to me. Same timing, same days, hit the low at the very same time on the B wave. Obviously, Mara made a lower low, but I think that this can run all the way through the end of the week. It's actually down and Bitcoin's up 4%. I have Bitcoin running all the way up here to 67,000. And so if Bitcoin runs to 67,000, I would say Mara can get up here to 17, 18, 19 bucks. Potentially higher if IWM runs. It's been following actually growth stocks more than Bitcoin today. So we'll see how that goes. Let's look at BA real quick. I bought into this yesterday at 154. I'm up like a few $100. I only bought 150 shares. My thinking is I will average down here if we sell off after PAL, or I'll take profit probably in the 170s after this gap fill. But my overall target is up here, so we'll see how it goes. I might just sell some up here. Maybe hold on to a few for a move that's probably going to come over the next 6 to 12 months. So BA I am bullish on. We have Nike, looks pretty bullish as well. Potentially same scenario as Boeing, getting an expanded flat C wave up here. You have some gap fills around 121 and 92 bucks. ENPH, I bought into this today at 112. I bought 20% of my position. Not going to say a dollar amount, but 20% of my position here. I think this is going to go to 165 in the next year or so, minimum, potentially all the way up to 220. So I don't see anything wrong with buying here. It could come down here to 80 bucks and fill this gap after completing this corrective move, but I expect much higher on ENPH. What else we got here? NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, tough to say. This is actually a really hard one to tell you exactly where it's going to go. It came into resistance, backing off here. Let's go to the 1 hour. So is this a fourth wave, or is this a start of a C wave down right here to 98 bucks? Or is it a first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave, like that, and a C wave overall? Or is this a first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave down here to 80 to 75 bucks? I personally think that we're going to go higher. So I don't care. You can see here it's pretty much overextended to the downside. Still from August 5th, not really made that much progress. And so I personally think that it comes down to either an ABC move, like that, but they might do this. They could do this. That's the B wave, and then something like that. That could happen, or we just go to new highs. So kind of hedging both ways on this one. You can see it's really going to come down to whatever the Fed says, whichever way the market goes. I personally think that we're going to go up through the end of the week. They're going to make everybody think, oh, yeah, of course, rate cuts are bullish, of course. And everything goes up for a couple of days, maybe into next week, and then just rug pull. Just rug pull it, everything starts selling off, and then continues to sell off and accelerates, and everyone is going to be have a hard time not holding the bag at that point. So that's my personal opinion on the market. I think it's probably going to go up through the end of the week. Everyone's kind of like, okay, it's pretty bullish over the weekend, and then next week we start seeing some selling. So NVIDIA, those are the counts I see. Let's look at Apple. Apple's at 216. I have this as, yeah, I had this as a second wave or a B wave. It's looking more B wave-ish. I can see this going down here to 209. But this might also, it actually makes a lot more sense for it to do this. Or this could be a C wave. This would be A, B, C, like that. This could be like that, and then sell off. So maybe Apple will be bullish along with everything else. Fill this gap here at 222. So I think there's a little bit of upside into the end of the week. I'm not like worried about a big sell-off right when they announce rate cuts, but it could happen. It could happen. Microsoft was a sell this morning, in my opinion. It's at 435, but you can see here, look where it hit. Right into daily supply. So I think Microsoft's a sell. Yeah, I actually sold some right around. I sold some at 439 that I've been holding, and you can see here 441 sold off. Could it go higher? Yeah, it can go to 448 is the 0.78 fib. but there's no reason to be greedy, the very top of the range. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe it does go to 448 and then sells off. But you can see here, all the stocks that I'm showing you have a little bit more to go, like a little bit of upside, but not that much before they're going to start selling off. So maybe NVIDIA goes to 124, or maybe it just barely bounces and comes down. Symbiotic, I alerted people down here, and look what's going on here. I said buy here at 18.15. Look where it's at now, 24 bucks. Could have made 33% like that. In my opinion, this is not a fourth wave now. That is an impulse move right there. So you might see a little bit more upside on this. There's a gap all the way up at 35. Maybe it does something like this. Or maybe it's a 5-wave move. The 1.61 fib to get up to 35 bucks is 27 bucks. So this might be going to 26, 27 bucks. And I would be selling that probably and waiting for a pullback. But if you're long, then just wait for 35 bucks. The 0.5 retracement, or not the 0.5, the 0.78 retracement is up here at 48 bucks. So I think 35 bucks should hit, but you might see a pullback here after this run. This is getting pretty big run actually, 33% in more than 33% in 7 days. So don't be surprised if it pulls back, but nice run there. Hopefully you followed the recommendation down there. Let's see, IWM. I haven't gone over the indexes yet. IWM 219. If it breaks 222, then that means this is not a second wave, most likely, and the C wave could be playing out up here to 230. QQQ, it's really in the same spot as NVIDIA, basically. So it comes down to, well, here's the three possibilities. First wave down, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave down here to 407. That would be super bad. Or do we get ABC down here? Potentially back down to like 430. Or this continues higher up here, fills the gap at 496, potentially goes higher than that too. I don't think this is a third wave, so I think you can get the C wave higher, but we'll see. They're not really giving anything away right now, just kind of bouncing around, waiting to see the obvious move. When it makes a move one way, then it's going to be more easy to read. Let's see what SPY is doing. So SPY made all-time highs. Wow. And I wasn't even following it. It made all-time highs. Is it going to continue going higher? Well, here's one thing we've ruled out. You can probably rule out then on QQQ. If this does end up going lower, I guess I can't say that though. This could be a very shallow C wave, but I would say it's more than likely this is we get something like that. Or, well, this only retraced not to the 0.5 fib. That's kind of why I'm thinking there's some gaps down here, why the C wave makes a lot of sense. Or it just continues going higher from here. If that happens and there's no pullback at all, then you're looking at 600 pullback, 620, 630, 650, something like that. Let's go to the standard deviations here. What makes the most sense? So I would say a little bit higher and then maybe a pullback. So maybe something like this. And then go up after that. This is a first wave, second wave, maybe something like that. So same pattern as everything else, a little bit higher into the end of the week, maybe next week, and then sell off hard. Let's see here. What else we got? Let's check on Amazon. I did a video over this in the weekend. I said it wasn't going to go above 190, hit 189. So this really looks to me like potentially something like that. And then when it comes down here, that's where you buy, down here in the low to mid 160s. And then it takes off after that. Is it possible that this sells off to new lows? I don't think so. The reason I don't think so is the pattern here looks like an ABC move. So I can see a sell-off of 10%, a little bit over 10% down here to the mid 160s. And then I think you're going to get a move up to at least 200, but maybe like 220. Meta is going for all-time highs. Pretty much. You see this parallel line, though, kind of similar to Amazon, getting to the very top of the range. I think that you could be looking at something up here and then a pullback to like 470, 480, and then go higher. So that's a pretty big pullback, too. That's a 10%, 15% pullback. If Apple goes to 220, like I said, if Apple goes to 220, it could come all the way down here to 205, 210. That's about a 8 to 10% pullback as well. It's also possible it comes down here to 192. What else have I missed? Google. Google's like one of the ones that's I feel like you can just buy and be fine with. It's already retraced so much, and this was 5 waves in my opinion. So maybe this goes a little bit higher and then just pulls back to like, it could do something like this. It could do, I have this as wave 5 though, so we'll see what happens with Google. Maybe it comes all the way up here to 182, 183, but a little bit higher short term and then pull back and then move higher. I think that's pretty much it. Lululemon, 268. This is a pretty good buy, I think, overall. They're not really growing, though, but just from the technical standpoint, this is so oversold that I think you're going to get a pretty big pullback here, retracement. So we'll see what happens with that. It was in weekly demand right here. There's probably some gaps up here. The biggest gap is obviously right here at 455. That would be a pretty big move to get back up to 455, but don't put it past them. That's only a, it's a little bit past the 0.78 fib. I don't think Lululemon's that bad of a buy here. And also, you got Christmas coming up. Maybe people will be spending a little bit more money on that. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Lulu. That's pretty much it. SoFi, I'm probably not going to do an update on because it still has not cracked above the top here. But it's so close to 850, I think it's probably going to hit 850 tomorrow or by the end of the week, I would say. But then you could get, again, this right here, where it's a B wave and then it sells off hard like that. So be careful with SoFi.